around lack, and there will be a second part in on April the 10th, if I'm not wrong. Um, so we had a couple of other Zoom meeting where we were talking about these topics. And now I want to go, I want to have some kind of more direct and practical approach to these topics, and see the how they affect, let's say, creation, but in other words, how they affect our everyday life, right? How they have an impact on our belief systems and in the way we attract our life and our reality. Because everything is turning around this concept, but we take the approach of, um, let's say, talking them from a point of view of theory, right? What is lack? Well, we can describe it, but how do we see the lack? How do we live the lack? And how do we uh, make ourselves able to recognize this lack? And if I express lack, am I doing it wrong? Is it bad? Am I going to lose everything? Or right, these kind of things, because it's never really very clear in um, in the practicality of it. And as humans, we, as soon as we have the thought that comes to us, oh, I faulted, I made it wrong, uh, I shouldn't have said this way. Now, oh gosh, I've expressed it lack. Oh, I'm expressing unworthiness. I'm forgetting my wealth. My oh, now panic, and then where do I go from here? Right? These kind of things that are expressing the human at its fully potential of messing up, right? Messing everything up. We're very good at that, especially with worth, right? We mess our worth very often, and we see ourselves very easily as unworthy of anything, unworthy of a compliment. Um, Someone tells you a compliment. Oh, you're looking beautiful tonight. Or your dress is magnificent, your makeup, your everything is magnificent. And then you are there saying, oh, you're magnificent too. And why don't you just take the compliment and shut up? Why do you have absolutely to feel that you have to, right, to go back to them? You don't need to. First of all, you don't need to, and then, well, take the compliment. You're beautiful tonight. You are. They're beautiful too, yes, of course. But why you shouldn't be? You're right. We have these things that we cannot take a compliment. We cannot have the worthiness of the compliment, and we have to run away from it, embarrassed that anyone has noticed that we are beautiful, that we are right. Yeah, these kind of things. And when we are buying something, I don't know, at the moment a lot is happening um on Facebook and Twitter and also Instagram, with a lot of publicity that is in there. So we are seeing a lot of things, and even things that are interesting, but as we are we have to stay home. It's our right. When we go shopping on Saturdays, now we are going watching Facebook, Instagram, and that's where we have our showing of these publicities and opportunities of this kind of thing. And right, we go and we watch these kind of things, and then, oh, watch it, shoes, clothes, or anything else, and suddenly we say, oh, this is beautiful, this is, but oh, it's too expensive. And the too expensive as always two way to be expressed. One is, well, many ways, but let's say two ways to be expressed and perceived. It's the way where you are saying I'm lackful, and the way where you are just saying not now, not interested now. Beautiful? No. And then there is we can say a third one, which is you say it's too expensive as a assessment. It is too expensive. Not for me. I am just not going to buy anything like that at that price because that is too expensive for what it is. And I know that I can find the same thing for less, right? Is that lackful? No, it's just your boundaries. And you say, that is no, I'll buy the other one that is half the price and as good as that one, right? But then, are you sure or not you sure? Well, it depends on the days sometimes. Um, but then we go into our head and then we start thinking, overthinking, and we start kicking our ass that we have done it wrong, that we have said it wrong, that now there will be consequences. What you put out is what you get. Now I will, right? Oh gosh. Okay, right. Let's get started then. Let's get started with and I will start this with a story. So the other day, I was just capting something, let's say, and I captured something that has happened to me um, sometimes ago. But right, I was in London, and I was walking on the street, and suddenly, as I'm walking on the street, I noticed that there are two huge bags laying there. Suddenly, I see one, and so I go and check on those bags, and I notice that they are full of money, a lot of money. So, well, I take I quickly think about that. So I have this two thing, and they seem to be full of really only money. So someone forgot them there or whatever, or who cares? I say, well, I take the bags, but then as soon as I say I take the bags with me, my mind goes, well, now what do I do? I'm in London. There are cameras everywhere. What if they see me taking the bags and then they can track me down? Okay, so uh, I take the bags. I know that there is a park not far away from there. And I thought, well, I go to the park and then I call a friend to bring me new clothes so I can change my clothes and I will change also my appearance so that when I go out and bring me other bags, right? So that when I change and take all that money into the other bags, I can leave this park, and even if the camera will um, record me, well, I'm not the same that came in, so they will lose my track. So that's what I do. Then I am there thinking, well, now I have all this money. I cannot go back to my apartment, to my house, because if I do that, if they recognize me, oh gosh, I have to be careful not to bring them to recognize me or to identify me. So I have to go somewhere else. And that's somewhere, well, so I have all that money anyway. So what I do is that I pick up a, I go into a room in a big hotel in London for some days, and I take a place with a safe, so that I can hide the money in the safe, so that I have the time to think, what am I going to do now? I need to know how much it is, and I have to figure out how what I'm going to do. Also, because that is a lot of money, and I have to be able to bring it. Because at the moment, with that, I decided I will go back to Switzerland with it, leave London behind. But the other problem is that it's GB pound, and so I have to find a way to have that money into Swiss francs. And then the other problem is that I don't want to keep all that money in the house. So I have to find a way to translate that money into something, bank account or something else, or maybe even not, because I have to figure out how to do it. So at that moment, I realized that Europe is not a place to stay with all that money that is right, not into any official register. And then I mean, if I do anything with that, and I in Switzerland, the thing is that I could open a bank account and put all the money in it, because there is the secrecy in the bank system, so that the banks cannot give away any information about their clients. Now it's only Swiss clients. At the time it was everyone, but they have decided that the secrecy is no longer operating for people that are living outside of Switzerland. But inside, you can keep the secret. But at the same moment, the bank now have to check the beneficiary of the money that is in the account. So if I put a lot of money in there, I'm not sure if they are not going to open a investigation into money laundering or anything like that. So I even there I think, I cannot open a bank account in Switzerland. I cannot open any bank account in any other European country. So that's when I realized, well, I have my friends in Cambodia. And Cambodia, being a country that is, let's say, outside of the mainstream banking system, even though they use the dollar, um, there are ways in Cambodia where I can bring the money and not have to pay taxes, and I will not be checked. So from when I realized that, I organized everything with my friends, so that we can uh, go to Cambodia with all of that, and using a diplomatic passport, and using everything, and using the connections in Cambodia, I'm able to go there first, coming to and even not, I go directly from London to Cambodia, and we are able to pass into the country. So I'm avoiding all the system of taxation or money laundering questions, or whatever that system that is happening there, right? Because I have decided that, well, the money is mine, and so I have to find every way I can in order to keep it and not having it taken away from me. um, and so going to Cambodia with the GB pound, and being able, with briberies and this kind of thing, to go into the country with all that money. Well, it's huge. It's a lot of money. When I count the money, I realize that it's something like it's 20 million GB pound, which is something like, now it must be 30 million US dollars, right? So it's a lot of money. And but as we are in Cambodia with all of that, and we say, well, we have to change the money into a currency in the country, so we are able to go mm, to the central Cambodian bank, where they are very happy to have foreign currency coming in. So in fact, they are so happy that they change the money, and they say if you change it in real, which is the Cambodian currency, the official Cambodian currency, even though they use the dollars as well, because to keep their currency um, alive and into the system, international system, right? Because without that, the Cambodian currency is really not valuable, right? But as we are there with that, and they say, well, if you take our currency, we will give you the equivalent of 50 million US dollar. And we say, well, yeah, all right. Anyway, we can go nowhere outside the country with money, so let's do it. And then this way we are able not only to have the equivalent of 50 million US dollar, we are also able to use this with a investing in the country. And by investing in the country, we are able to have a 25% revenue each year, right? We are making a lot of money out of this, but still we are unable to leave the country. We have to stay in the country with money, and we cannot use it anywhere else than in the country, because, well, the problem is that the money cannot be declared and cannot be traced. And and from the records in Europe, in Switzerland and in Europe, we do not have that money. So if they find out, they will prosecute us for probably stealing, or probably, right, money laundering or anything like that, because that's how these things go. But, well, so we are confined in the country, and we are, right, making these 50 million US dollar in local currency. We are making it going up, so that very quickly we have the equivalent of 100 million US dollar. And I said, wow, that's very successful, but still we are confined in the country. We cannot leave the country. Even though, I mean, right, I love Cambodia, so it's not a punishment to stay confined with, right, uh, the the wealthy that we have has to stay in Cambodia, where no one will challenge it or taking it away from us, right? So um so that's the story, right? Very interesting, and a lot of money coming to us, and we play with that. We are able to, right? There's worse than that anyway, right? So, and as I am telling this story, and as I go through this, and as I said, this is something that happened to me, or I should say, to a version of me. Um, I realize that all through this story, or this life, or this experience, never the idea came to me to realize that I am the one creating the money, right? So the money, where does the money come from? Someone stole in a bank, or killed someone else that had the money, and then they come, and then, right? Well, we can tell a lot of story about this, right? Backstory of where the money comes. But the thing is that I realized that, well, the money came from nowhere. I was creating the money in the moment. So when I discovered the money, I was creating the discovery of the money. And that never came to my mind. So all along of this experience, instead of enjoying the money, I was building all a guilty process and a unworthiness process and a lack process of saying I'm not worth of this money. I'm not worth the wealth that this money is representing. And even though at the end of the day, the story is that the money is keep going up, right? At every stage of the story, the money is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, more money, right? But we are not able to really fully enjoy the money, and we are limited in the enjoyment and even in the use of the money. So we're spending our time in worrying and hiding and not taking advantage of the situation. So I realized, wow, right? There is this thing happening, and you are creating it, and you go instantly into a mode of hiding it and finding a way to keep it. And there I ask, well, I have to find a way to keep it, but I'm creating the money. Why am I automatically going into a mood of I have to find a way to keep it? I'm creating it. I am obviously going to find a way to keep it if I just accept the fact that I'm creating the money. But I don't see that. I only see, right, all the obstacle that exist around me. The taxations, oh, and judicial, right? They're going to think that I stole it, or they're going to think that this money come from money laundering, or they're going to think whatever they're going to think, and I'm going to get trouble. And I did nothing. I just find some money in the street that was property of no one, right? Yeah, it's a very interesting story, and it's it's the relationship to it. And this story is, I can say, how the vast majority of humans will have it experience, in different way, obviously. I mean, not everyone will go to Cambodia with it, right? But I mean, the guilty, the unworthiness, the obstacles with the law and with everything. And some people will also say I'm even not worth to keep it, and I have to bring it to the police or whatever, because it belongs certainly to someone, right? No, it belongs, you're creating it. Or of course, if you go to the police, then probably you will attract what the story of, yeah, you will attract the story that, yeah, the money was stolen from bank or something. There will be some story that will come to, right, to back the thing, all the thing, and then that ends up with you going home with nothing. And as I was going through all this scenario and all of this story, and let me just be clear here, I don't have the $100 million. Right, right, this is a parallel reality, right? I'm not telling my story here of this reality of but it doesn't matter. Why? Because The thing here is there are two things that one has really to understand about this money. First of all, the creator of the money was me, right? I am the creator of the money, first of all. Secondly, that is true for all of us, for everyone. The money that we have is created by us in the moment, whether it's in the bank, whether it's some physical money or whatever. I am creating it. And so the relationship with it of unworthiness, I have no money and money is bad and I'm unworthy of having any money, especially a lot of money, right? Oh, right. The the guilty about it that we all feel when suddenly we have a lot of money. Suddenly, whether you win to the lottery, whether you find it somewhere, oh my goodness, feel instantly guilty of having the money. Instantly. And we cannot just enjoy it. That's why that's one of the reasons why people that win to the lottery, they don't keep the money. The money goes away in whatever ways, because there isn't the worthiness of it, and it's just, it can't stay. The money is still there. I mean, the money went nowhere. It's the relationship to it. The unworthiness makes that the money is not there, right, as physical or as a relationship, but the money is still there. So wow, hello, uh, you have to let go of it because you're not worthy of having it. um so you see, it's it is putting the light to our relationship to it, the fact that I think that many of you that are listening to this story, you have been following this story as I was telling the story, and maybe even wondering how would you have reacting to it, or how would I act, how would I that how many have thought, but you are creating the money, but the money is yours. How many have had that thought instantly of realization? Who's the creator? I am. So the money belongs to the creator, cannot belong to anyone else. And if there is any belonging, or if there is any question to have about it, and in reality there are no questions to have about it, because it's in the flow of creation, it's in the I am that these things are built in. It's creation. It's nothing else. But we have learned lack, we have learned unworthiness, and therefore we have to express it. And when something is happening that is not, that is going against this expression of our lack and unworthiness, oh, we have to refute that. We have to refuse them, because we have to stay in our cycle of lack and unworthiness. And wealth cannot enter our life, because if it does, things could become better. But if things become better, what am I going to spend my life complain about? If things are too good, I can't complain. I can't have a identity created based on how horrible being a human being is. So all the time I'm spending here, what am I going to do? Hmm, it's a good question. So the other day, and this is a true story, this really happened to me. It's not my parallel self. The other day, I woke up and I had an inspiration, a godly inspiration, let's say, of updating my Apple laptop with the last version of the operating system. So I uh, the Apple says, "Oh, you have a update for your system. Do you want to do it?" I say, "Well, yeah, let's do it." And as I'm doing that, I have a voice. I'm just, yeah, a little voice saying, "Are you sure you want to do it? Because this new version may not work with your 7-year-old computer." I said, "Oh, let's do it." Right? So I do it, and as it starts updating, I see that it just stopped. Black screen, goes nowhere. And I instantly realize I fucked up. Shit. My computer is gone. Now, I was already thinking replacing it, to be honest. So I already had that idea of replacing that computer. But I was thinking, oh, I'm waiting still a little bit. It's still working, and I know where I'm going to buy it, but as this store has a system where I can have a point system with the supermarket, and so then at the end I will have part of it already paid off with this point system. So I'm doing this, and so I'm just saying I will wait a little bit more and this and that. Okay. And so the other day, I find myself in a situation where, in fact, it becomes impossible for me to avoid the question, am I going to replace it? Um, Welcome and um, hello. So I let's keep going. Um, so I'm facing that. So I get, first of all, I got mad, very mad at the thing, and say, how is it possible that they put out a update and it's not working, right? Okay, and then I start blah 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 until I'm there, and I say, well, I have to find a solution, right? And then I had my last YouTube channeling where the channel come in and kick my stupid ass. And then I realized, well, the computer is already there. I already have the new computer. I already have it. I know I already have it. So when I realized that, then I realized that up until that moment, I was just expressing my luck and unworthiness of having a new one. So, and I said, wow, but I already have enough to reduce the cost of it, and anyway, I already have the money to buy it. So it's even not a question of, do I have the money, don't have the money. I do have the money to buy it now. So when I realized that, then I said, well, what then? Why am I playing this game? I mean, I was going to replace it anyway. Now, the other option is to go to the Apple store and ask for them to repair it. Well, yeah, I can do that. Obviously, I can. I still can do it. But I said, but I'm going to replace it anyway. Even if I repair it now, I will change it very soon because I have work to do with it and it's too old to do the job. So I said, okay, I think that obviously the choice is done. And obviously, now let's see from another point of view, I created it this way. Clearly, the decision in the creation, I already took the decision. I have to get rid of this. And finally, I had to hit myself in the face to realize I have to change it. So I have created a reality in order to change it. And then when I created the reality in order to change it, I was still expressing lack in refusing to accept the reality, change the computer, because I couldn't just accept the flow of reality and to accept my wealth and my worthiness in just changing it without going on all the process of, oh, should I, shouldn't I, oh, but if I do that now, I could do it next month or in 2 or 3 months. Why? And well, it's now. Obviously, I am showing myself now, do it now. So I said, okay, have a choice. I can choose my luck or I can choose my wealth. What do I choose? Well, in this instance, I choose my wealth. And I also realize that spending that money has absolutely no consequence in my wealth. Am I giving away the money? No, I'm not giving away the money. I never give away the money, right? Because I had also the realization of what? The money is there anyway. And the $100 million I was speaking about in the story of before, that money is there too. Even if I'm not accessing that money right now, that money is there. The wealth is there, all the wealth. So that in fact, depleting all the belief system and all the limitations and all the things that we put up on ourselves, I realized, well, I have no limits and I have no limits in my wealth. And the buying a computer is not going to have any consequence on my situation right now, unless I decide that yes, there is a consequence and I'm really losing the money. But right, but that's a choice. That's a relationship with the situation where I have I have a, like a bigger relationship with what I'm giving away than with what I'm receiving, right? And and if I go into this with the idea, oh, I've been an idiot, I shouldn't have done that update, and now this is the consequence. I have bad luck. Someone hints me, jinxed me, and now these bad things are happening. Yeah, I can go into that, right? It's always a choice to see things, and then there is and then, well, I can also just accept the easiest way, which is to accept creation and say, well, I'm creating this way because I want it to be this way. So what am I hesitating? Why wait? Let's do it. So I do it, and it comes out that 25% of the price is already covered. So I have to pay on only the 75%, and I can have and the model, the version of the computer that I'm buying has 4 times more power than what I was expecting to find out. So I am literally updating from the prehistorical to a more modern situation. So the moment I have accept my wealth and my worthiness, I open the door to a upgrade and even a much better situation than what I was expecting. So you see, in the practicality, when you are expressing your lack, which is right what we tend to do anyway. So it's even not a question of trying to fight against lack. This is a point that is very important. Do not fight. Do not fight. So, do not fight against your, yeah, do not fuck with your luck, right? Okay, that could be said that way too. Do not fight against your luck. Accept it because you are expressing it. So you are in the movement of creation. You are expressing luck. So there is something in there to see. It's not wrong. It's your expression. It's what you are attracting. So instead of fighting against the expression of your lack, see it, accept it, and let go of it, right? That is the right way of doing it, because we are not here to fight against ourselves. We are here to accept ourselves and to be ourselves. And if our first movement is to go into lack, that's our first movement. That doesn't limit our options from that moment. That doesn't determine a lackful outcome. But obviously it makes it more likely to be if you keep going into the lack. But that's, I mean, that's obvious without the need to of going into any um, more exploration of that. But the moment you see it and you accept it and you work into it, you open other possibilities of working um, that around and coming to another outcome. So the discovery of options that you were not seeing when you were in your expression of lack. Um, so the coming together of all of this, so the practicality of the lack and the acceptance and transmutation of the lack and the acceptance of the wealth, right? From the moment that you let go of that aspect and you turn it into worthiness and wealth, your reality changes, right? Doors open and reality changes, and suddenly you have access to that wealth. And that's where everything changes in the way you express your reality. What does this mean? It means that oh, it means that up until the moment you are lackful. Hello, Lucia, and welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Let me just mute you and right. So up until the moment you are expressing your lack, well, you are in your lack, so you are not seeing all that you have. Now, the moment you are in your worthiness and your wealth, what what comes in there for you? There is, first of all, the understanding that your wealth is not limited to your money. That's something that is not that evident and that self going for all of us, because we are focused on money equal I'm rich. However, however, the thing is that when we open the door to our worthiness and our wealth, suddenly our world becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that has nothing to do with the money. What do I mean? I mean that when you focus everything on the money, well, your world will be built on the money. When you realize that there is more to wealth than the money, your world will be bigger and more opportunities and more things will be in there comprised more money. But the more money is a consequence of you opening your up yourself to a bigger world. So there is no promise of more money. There is no um, having to say, oh, let me just open up my wealth so that I will have more money. No, if you do that that way, you will not have more money. That's for sure. But I'm saying this to give an idea of how um, when you are limiting yourself, hmm, you are limiting what you have. So that your money, you will have the money, but you will not have the worthiness, you will not have the wealth, and you will have a lot of lack. Like in the story I was saying before, a lot of money, millions of millions and millions. Yeah, that's what that was about, right? Millions and millions, but not being able to go out of the country, fearing law enforcement, fearing of losing it, fearing everything, so that in fact, a lot of money doesn't equal a bigger world. It was more equal to a lesson world and a lesson wealth, right? If in that story, instead of being worrying of losing all that money, it the creation the creator, so I was focusing in saying, all right, look at me, I'm creating this, so I'm taking this and that's mine, so I can do whatever I want to this with this. And then that's when I am going in a bigger and place, in a bigger world, in a bigger expression of wealth, where the money becomes less important, and where I'm just assuming my creation. And at that moment, I will be able to do much more with what I am creating. So, um, the oh, sorry. Yes. Um, so when we are in this situation of right of choosing hmm, um, the way we relate to creation, worth, wealth, or unworthiness, lack, etc., etc. When we are choosing that, because it's a choice, it becomes a choice, and it comes in moments where, like with the computer, you go through your stages of I'm lackful, okay, I express my lack, and then oh, I see I'm expressing my lack, but still and then so yeah, okay, all right, I'm expressing my lack fully. Now what do I do? I still okay, stop. Now I don't want to be lackful. What do I do with my lack? Okay, what do I do? I love these shoes that I'm seeing there. I really love them, but it's $300. It's a lot of money for some people. It's not a lot of money for other people. Uh-huh. Okay. Now, it's expensive. How do I express the expensiveness? Do I have to go into thinking about it? No, not necessarily. But okay. Um, let me see. Do I have the money? Yes, I have the money. All right. So they still are expensive because $300 for one pair of shoes, it's still $300, right? I can do many other things with those $300. So there is a much easier way to go with this. So you have the $300 shoes and you see them and you say, I want them, and you buy them. Or you see them and you say $300 for one pair of shoes, it's too much. I can have those shoes somewhere else for much less. And it's maybe not exactly the same, but nevertheless, I do not give away $300 for a pair of shoes. End of story. Still not luckful. Or you can just stay there, watch the shoes, and say they're too expensive. I have the money, but no, they're beautiful though. I, I, oh yeah, it's very painful, but still, $300 is expensive. Well, right? That's the lack. Um, so in the expressing the same feeling, the same thing, $300 is expensive for these shoes, for shoes generally, right? You have ways to do it that is not lackful. There are ways where you are expressing something else than the lack. Um, and that is true with everything. It can be something that you can say useful, like clothes, shoes that you may need in the moment, or not, or whatever. Or it can be with luxury goods, or with everyday things, right, that you use. It can be with food. Food is a very good example, especially here in Switzerland, but I know that in the United States it's a very good example as well, where um, you can have, I don't know, we have here Italian um, ham and Italian uh, cheese, and right, these things. And Italian food is good. It's really very good. Nevertheless, and I mean, we are close to Italy. Is just what, uh, crossing crossing the custom, cross the thing, and really it's not far away from here. So what increase in price can you have with Italian food here in Switzerland, right? Mm, well, Swiss custom must be really very do some magic, because when the the Italian ham comes here in Switzerland, the price goes up 5 times. Sometimes, yeah, 5 times or something like that. So, right, for someone that has the choice to go in Italy, and like me, with my family or with my friends, to be in Italy, and have this Italian ham for 20 euros, so 25, um, or no, less even, for something like $20 the kilogram. And then I come here in Switzerland and I find something that is supposed to be the same, and suddenly the kilogram is $80 to $100. I'm there saying, well, this is knowing the price in Italy and seeing the price here in Switzerland, and it's just crossing, right? How can it go 4 5 times more expensive? And there I'm saying, well, no, it's too much for something that just I crossed the border and I have for 5 times less, right? And the relationship with that is not, it's not lackful, because I can buy something else that is less expensive, and I'm very pleased because I know it's very good, the Italian one. But then, well, okay, 5 times more than what I have just outside the border. No, that is deep, right? That they're stealing. So food can be something that is triggering into the lack aspect of it, because I mean, even at $80, if I take just right 100 grams, it's $8. I have $8 to keep away from for the harm. I have that, except that I have other harms for, and maybe not coming from Italy, that I can pay, well, half, right? So that's where you say, I'm sorry, it's still too expensive. Even though it's good, very good, it's still expensive in the reality of things. Because, so I have a solution for that. It's just going to live in Italy. So that you have all that food all the time for much less. You see, there are always solutions. Well, all right. Anyway, um, so the lack and this expression of all of this can come in many ways. So right, and for any good, whether it's food, clothes, shoes, or even services. I've been working in the past for companies that are charging way too much to their clients for what it is, and you have alternative that are really less expensive, and maybe also in the client service better, right? Um, so then I was not doing it as the client, so it was not my problem. But you realize how that can have a consequence with the clients. So um, it's always a relationship. So for me, the the important thing is always I recognize all of this so that I'm able to act, to accept it, to let go of it, and then to bring myself knowingly into the worth and into the wealth, because the point here is to let go in the best possible way, which is acceptance of the lackfulness that we have, all of that. To let go of that in the best way possible, without right the resistance, without the judgment, without the all this those things that we are so good with, right? Lack is something that we have learned, like many other things. Fighting against it, it's not the solution. We have a lot of problem right now with many things that can right be racism, that can be things like that we are judgmental about, and that we are right looking at and say, oh, and we have to fight against racism. No, we don't have to fight against racism. We have to recognize racism, accept racism, and let go of racism, right? All these things, right? We always take them as, "Ah, I have to fight, I have to fight, I have to fight. I have to improve myself by fighting against that thing that I am doing because it's bad. And if I don't fight it, it's going to be worse, and I cannot solve the problem without the fight." Oh no. Oh no. You're choosing you're choosing the losing side when you do that. There is the winning side, and the winning side is the side that just let go of it. Just accept it. Just say, okay, I'm racist. Okay, I'm lackful. Yes, I am. Now, I recognize it, and let me understand it. Let me see into it. And once I'm done it, I understand it, and now I'm ready to let go of it. And once I'm letting go of it, where I am opening myself, I recognize my worth. I'm worthy of that. I'm worth of all of that. And I recognize myself. I'm lifting myself up. I'm experiencing myself in a different way. I'm loving myself in a different way, in a way of worthiness, in the way that is recognizing me as the center of all of this and as the person that is doing this work for me. Hmm? And so now I see I'm worth it. Now I see that I am a good person. Now I see that I have a lot of to give, first to myself and then to anyone else that is entering my experience, my creation, my co-creation, right? Now I see me first, without lack, without unworthiness. So I'm opening myself to my wealth, to accept my wealth, whatever it is. Money, okay. Uh, Land, houses, yeah, of course. All of these things, of course, it's me, it's mine, belongs to me. Let it come, right? Because the moment I let go of all of that fight, all that wealth that is already there becomes mine. I open myself to that, which can manifest then in many, many ways. It depends, right? Suddenly you have a better job that pays you the double or three times what you were receiving before. Oh, it's very, let go of your lack, let go of your unworthiness, your job will improve. That's for sure. Because your shitty job is not because you have a shitty job. It's not because you don't have the capacity of having a better job. It's not because of oh, the right, the economics are bad right now, I have to take whatever there is. No, no. Now, your shitty job is because you are unworthy of a better job. Your shitty job is because you are lackful. Your bad salary is because you are lackful. And there is no judgment in this. It is a reality of how creation works. So the moment you recognize this and you let go of your unworthiness, of your lack, your job will improve. Better salary, better position, better everything. Because you're not lackful anymore. Because you have no reason anymore to be in a shitty job that is not paying you. Why so many Americans do need two, three jobs to meet the end of the month? Because they are bad, because they are not they haven't studied enough, because no, because yeah, they are unworthy, because they are lackful, because they are not worthy of a better hourly salary, because $15 salary an hour, they are still saying it's too much. And $15 an hour, it's still not enough. But even that is refused, even that is not passing easily. They have to fight even for that. Why? Because they are lackful, because they are unworthy. That's what they are expressing in the majority of the country. That's the global consciousness of America of saying we are unworthy. So the unworthiness has clear consequences in the everyday life of millions of people that need to have 2 3 jobs, and but they cannot afford healthcare at the same moment because they have just enough to go up to the 20th of the month or 24th, something like, if they can arrive to that, and then they still have a week where they can't eat, they can't do nothing, they have to decide whether they pay the next bill or not, right? They are not doing it wrong, they are doing it with lack, with unworthiness. And I mean, I'm taking just the example of America. They are not the only one that are expressing lack, right? Clearly, they are not. But it's when you look to this world event from a point of view of lack, on unworthiness, things change perspective, right? Completely change perspective. Why women are still treated less than men in salary, wages, um, in the way in politics, everywhere. Why? Because there is a war against women. Because men are stronger. Because I don't know. Because no, no, no. Because unworthiness. Because of lack that there is in the global consciousness of women. Women equal feeble or less strong than men. Women equal less competent, right? It's not true, but it's built in. So there is a unworthiness and a lack that is expressed, and that is materialized in salaries that are less, in um, sports where women have less right good performances than men. But let's now see it from a point of view of creation. Let's now be serious about this. Are really women inferior to men? No. So why are women paid less? Why their sport results are less? Why are they less considered in politics? Why? Why is this happening? Well, because the lack and the unworthiness is built, right? It's expressed in that way. So when I am creating a woman, I am creating the woman that is less strong than a man. But is the woman less strong of a man? No, no, no. The less strong than a man is a belief system. Women, if whether you are creating yourself as a woman or as a man, there is absolutely no difference between the two. The differences are only belief systems. So you see all of this to say it's really built with lack and unworthiness and belief. So as core of the belief system, where you see the woman in a certain way, which is inferior. But again, it's a belief system. So how do you correct these things so that women and men are expressed as equal? Do you have to lift down the man? Do you have to lift up the woman? Do you have to have a war of the sexes? No. You have to recognize that the differences are made based on belief system. You have to recognize the belief system. You have to accept the belief system, and you have to let go of the belief system. And you have to have women, not men, women recognizing the equality with men. At that moment, the lack and the unworthiness that makes society created with a difference within the sexes is going to fall, and the equilibrium will prevail in creation of, obviously. And again, it will be remaining a belief system, but the belief system that we are expressing right now is a belief system of differences and of inferiority, again, lack and unworthiness, which takes away your wealth. Why women are more in a situation of becoming poor when they have children alone, so when they are single parents with children, and men are less in that situation. Unworthiness, which brings away wealth. Why women are expressing certain things in their creation in a certain way that are lifting them down, when a man in the same situation will lift themselves up. Lack, unworthiness, and wealth, it's not there, right? So you give that the womb, right? We are still in the belief system that to bring the equilibrium, or to bring down the patriarchy and these kind of things, we have to fight against the patriarchy, so the men that are the base of that patriarchy. No, we don't have to fight against the men. We have to lift up the women. We have to give to the women the realization of their worthiness, and bringing away and letting go of the lack that is expressed. Right? That's how you defeat the patriarchy, not by fighting against it, but by bringing up the awareness of the equality from the side that is more suffering of the patriarchy, right? And that is the same uh, for any minority that is suffering. uh, the black community is suffering of, right, racism and all of that. How do you bring them back into a equality with the white folks, right? Do you destroy the white supremacists? No, no, you no. Or because then once you have killed all the white supremacists, well, who else are you going to kill? Because there will always be someone else that you have to kill in order to try to, the fight will never end. The way you fight racism is by bringing back the awareness, right, of the black community and every other Asian, African, Asian, right, Arabs, any minority that is suffering from this. You bring them back into the awareness of their worth and wealthy, so that when you bring that away, there cannot be anymore any white supremacy, because the white supremacy is expressed by the white people that are feeling superior, but it's even more expressed in the inferiority, in the unworthiness and lackfulness that is expressed by those that are suffering from it. Because there is no perpetrator and there is no victim. There is a belief system. And if you want to let go of the belief system of the white supremacy, you have to bring down the belief system that the black community, that the Asian community is inferior. There are no ways that we can win by fighting against. We have to accept it and then come to the equality, right? So there are concrete situations where the lack and the unworthiness are expressing, that are expressed, and where these situations are have consequences. And the wealth, right? You look at Africa, for instance. If you welcome, If you look to the expression or the belief system and the expression of the continent of Africa with all the countries and everything, we have a system where the poor are in Africa. So every country in Africa is poor, and they have nothing. So that is still a belief system, and but we have decided that that is in this reality how it is. But are they? And if we apply that way, then how do we bring the African continent to the same level of every other continent in a expression of equality? Well, there are no miracles here that, right, by fighting against the white supremacy or this kind of thing, that we are going to bring the other community at the same level. No, we have to accept the situation as it is. We have to accept the lack, the unworthiness, and all of that. And once we have let go of that and accept it, to create in another way, the wealth will manifest, the equality will manifest. And Africa that is seen as inferior because of the blackness of people, because of the right, the color of the skin, because of many things, because of slavery, because they have built the continent in another way, so that and obviously because of colonialism, right? The white supremacy comes from the fact that the white conquest the world, or the white folks have the idea that that is their superiority, when in reality they are a minority in the world, right? 80% of the world is not white, or even more than 80% of the world is not white. So where is the superiority? There is no superiority to have, right? But the perception of colonialism gives to the white folks this feeling of, oh, we are superior. So Africa is built as inferior. And so where is the wealth? Huh? Again, like the story I was telling before, huh? The wealth of Africa, Africa has everything, everything, natural resources, uh, everything, right? But still, they are considered as inferior and poor. So when you take away the lackful and you take away the unworthiness, the wealth that is there, because this wealth already exists, right? Suddenly that wealth will manifest in a different way. So I come back to what I was saying before. uh, your wealth will expand when you let go of all of those belief system of lackfulness and unworthiness. And obviously money is part of what will increase, right? What you will have more in Africa and in another, in the black community, in the Asian community, and etc etc, all right, all those things will suddenly become more accessible to people that up until that moment thought, were thinking we are not worth it, we don't have it, right? That's how wealth increase for everyone. That's how wealth suddenly becomes bigger, right? Included money again, but not exclusively, because money is only part of wealth and it's not wealth. um, but the shift into realizing wealth as more than money, we're not there yet, right? So for the time being, we still have an idea of money as the center of our universal wealth. So we have to go with it. We, again, you do not fight against this idea, you just accept it, and then you go into trying, into transmuting it and into allowing it to become something else. And that something else is the realization of your real wealth that is your creation, in fact. And as you are creating everything, your wealth is all you are creating. And money is part of what you are creating, but not the essential creation. So what so as you see is this um, topic or this thing about luck, worth, and wealth is essential into understanding our creation, our world, how it's working, why some people are up there here and some people are down here. Why? Right? And how do I bring them here as well? This is how. But um, it's easier said than done. I'm not sure of that actually, but not with the individual. With if you work, if you see it as a global thing, it may be right, something that has to be shifted in with more time, but with the person, the individual, this shift can be realized very quickly. Why? Because when you work one-on-one with one person and that you are working on their lackfulness and their unworthiness, you are able to act with them. And the unworthiness of a community, with which can be right the black community, or can be the Asian community, the African, right, those unworthiness, that those lackfulness are not keeping the individual, because none of us is bent to anything. We are free to let go of what is the belief system around my skin color, or around my sexuality, or around my or origins, right? Or right, or my sex, being a woman, right? I, I can let go of that. That's why you have women that are making more money than men, because those women are completely in their worthiness and in their wealth. And no one will go to those women telling them you are inferior to a man. I know it's impossible. Those women are fully into their worthiness. That's why they are able to be equal to men. But clearly, that's not where everyone is standing. So when you can work with one to one with one person, uh, let's stay with women. When you are working with a woman that has a problem with her position in society, that has a problem with her job, that has a problem with her salary, and that is seeing the being discriminating against for being a woman, and bring her to the realization that no one is discriminating against her. It's her belief system of being inferior to a man that allows that reality to be created, that allows her to create that reality. And so that when she realized that belief system, she's able to let go of that belief system and to realize her worthiness. But the solution comes from within, not from a external uh, savior, which generally is a white male supremacist that comes in with a solution. Oh, look at you, little black person. Let me save you from the bad word that is discriminating against you. Oh, look at you, little woman. Let me, white male, give you, me strong, you feeble. Let me save you, right? Which is what we see all the time, whether it's in what we experience at work or outside, or right in our relationships and friendships, etc. Whether it's when we watch a TV show, a movie, or a series, a TV show, often that's what we are seeing, right? The ones that are victimized, the ones that are um, dying, the ones are minorities, whether it's black, whether it's homosexual, whether it's women, and they are always shown in that feeble position of unworthiness. And then you have the white male that comes in and saves the day. Most of the time, that's the story of the game, right? That's what they're showing. But again, why are they showing it? Because we are accepting that unworthiness of having the story told in another way. And bringing the change, right? Bringing this awareness and changing the way we perceive reality, we perceive lack and worth, and worthiness, and then bringing them to uh, everything. It's a game changer, total game changer for minority. And right, you can see it as a global thing. So going into women, homosexuals, Africans, um, black community, Asian community, any other right minority that you can think of. You can bring it, think about it at that scale, or you can think it individual, right? Because it's not only a, let's say, sickness that um, is related to a minority, or what is perceived to be a minority, because obviously, I mean, honestly, is the black community, I mean, a minority compared to what is considered to be the majority, meaning white male supremacists? I don't think so. It's a belief system again, right? Are women less than men in the numbers? No, absolutely not. Already, we do not know the numbers of anything. So, right? But then, as you can have women that are more successful than men, or I mean, right, the more or less, it's always a question of perception, obviously, but they're successful. That's all they are. They are not more or less, they are successful. And in their success, right, they express their worthiness, right? So if it's possible for one woman, it's possible for every other woman to have the same expression of herself, of her creation, bringing worthiness and wealth in their life, right? Why? And when I think here, yeah, we can even go there. I mean, right? Um, I've been watching this show, RuPaul Drag Race, and I've been watching the perception, right, that there is in that show. Transgender expression of drag were not accepted for 13 years. No drag contestant was allowed to participate if they were transgender. Why? Because they are less good than the others? No, no, right? And you look into many aspects of society and you say the same pattern of saying, oh, a transgender woman has to go into certain sex job to have a revenue because no one wants to hire them, right? But here again, what is that is really expressed in these things? We go back to the same thing. The pattern is always the same for all of us when we are expressing into what is perceived to be minority. But then, And that is what is underlying here is what I was touching on this just before. Are these really minorities? Are these really minorities? No, they are not. The minority is a belief system again, because I can tell you that homosexuals and LGBT plus communities are supposed to be a what 5%, 10%. Um, I can tell you that's just not true, because it's a question of what attraction. So this idea of putting right to say it's a minority, well, no, not in my world, not in my world. In someone else's world, yes, you have the expression of a minority, not in my world. Because when I watch around me, I can tell you that the numbers of homosexual LGBT plus Q community that I am aware of, it's the majority. And they are popping up everywhere. So minority is only a perception and a belief system. And when we an even bigger thing, when we talk about women, how can we talk about a minority? That is where we can have the concept of splitting in two, men and women, right? Letting go of everything else, let's say half and half. So how can it be a minority? Or then we can go into skin color, saying, well, yeah, but then if you have a black woman, right, compared to a white woman, or right, we can go then into all of that. But the reality of this is that if I am a black woman in a black community, am I a minority? Really a minority? Because I mean, what I'm attracting is something that is similar to me, and we are having an experience between us, and we welcome, hello. Um, Let me just mute for you for now. So I'm attracting this world with blackness, right? So where is the minority? There is no minority except the belief system that there is a minority. But then, well, if I accept it, yeah, I become a minority, but not because I am a minority, but because I relate to it, because I accept that as being like that, right? But the reality is that there is no minority. So the translation of that then into having this lack and this unworthiness that comes into the expression of the minority, the expression of being a woman, the expression of being a black person or a colored or whatever, it makes me always laugh. I'm for me this is not white, but I mean, anyway, it's another thing. um and and so, right, we come to the realization of all of these things that if we are just creating these uh, differences and this belief system, and that gives us way to create the lack related to it, the unworthiness, right? Oh, if I have a child, I want to have a male, a kid, a, a male, right? Because it's better. Why? Why is it better to have a child that is man? Why? Seriously, why? I I don't understand it. Unless you go into the thing of saying, right? Oh, but then it's stronger. Oh, but then a man has more opportunity uh, to develop in life and to have a better job and to have a better salary. Okay, 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 right? then I'm creating what? I'm in a system of lack and unworthiness. Again, from the moment we have, right, the birth, which is supposed to be the best thing that we do, right? The birth of a child. But then even there, we have to put unworthiness, right? And allow, well, say, oh yeah, if is a boy, I'm happy. If it's a female, shit. And there are many books about this, right? Pride and Prejudice. 5 female kids and no male hair. And all the story is around that. Because if the father dies, the 5 kids and the mother will find themselves becoming poor. Well, that was the society in England in 1800, right? Okay. Huh. But we realize that if nowadays our society is not as extreme in the definition of these things, we still have that. In China, the one child law made that when they had a female, they abandoned the kid, or they didn't want the kid because they wanted to have the male one, the boy, not the girl, be, 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 because be, because if I can have only one child, I want a boy. So every family will have a boy. Very clever. Because when you have only boys in every family, then how the fuck do you keep up with, right, the next generation if you have no female to procreate the next one? I don't think. Anyway, it's not really a problem, but right in the idea of human, that's what is happening. So you see, still all this pattern of unworthiness and the lack, and then when you look into the wealth, so it's not there. Right, it's not manifested in the awareness. As I was saying before, the wealth is always there. The millions I was talking about before are there. They fucking there. The computer I've bought, it's already here. It's already existing. It's already here. It's not yet manifested. Right? The bank account is there. Not manifesting in the moment because I'm not at the bank, but it's there. Can I access it in my creation? Well, I wish. But that, right, but that is the wealth that becomes available the moment you realize your worthiness and you let go of your lack. So yeah, there is a lot to work with this and to express these things. So good. I think for today, that's all I wanted to come to and express.